Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Season 8 of Stand Up and Stand Out. Para te y desticate. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nikki Green. Throughout the past 8 seasons, we have worked to showcase some incredible guests with eclectic backgrounds so you can see that success comes in many shapes and sizes. On our path to episode 100, we have some new inspiring interviews to celebrate this important milestone of our podcast. As I add retreats into my coaching program, I'm looking forward to meeting more of you in person and connecting with you beyond the podcast. I hope you enjoy Season 8, and I look forward to hearing your feedback and comments on the fascinating topics we will cover with each new guest. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stand Up and Stand Out. Bienvenidos a Para te y desticate. We have our next wonderful guest, Dagmar Fleming, who I have known actually for several years, but strangely, we've never met in person until just recently in November when I happened to be in Dallas at a C-suite network event. So Dagmar, welcome so much to the show. I'm so glad to have you and spend a little more time with you.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm looking forward to it.
Dagmar is incredibly talented, best-selling author. She's got TV shows on the Thriving Women TV network. And so much more. And we'll let her tell you a little bit about her story. Maybe tell us a little bit about some of your adventures in life and where you can help people the most.
Well, talking about an adventurous life, I wasn't planning on it, but it sure unfolded in such way. You know me from living in Texas, but probably you can tell by my accent, I'm not exactly a born Texan. Oh, yes, that little, but I love it. So I call myself one and only Poltex since I came from Poland. And that really is something that has played a big role in my life and in my personal journey as well as my professional career, because having come from a communist country, I was really unconsciously imprinted with all kinds of limitations. The idea of poverty being a virtue and struggle being good. So even though I came to America to embrace entrepreneurship, individuality, and freedom of expression, it actually ended up chasing and haunting me in my professional career. So it's been quite a ride, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
I love it. I love this season too, because we definitely have just such amazing internationally experienced guests. And I think it's so important to continue to broaden our experiences. Right now in the U.S., this next generation that's starting to graduate is representing 50% multiracial, where, multicultural, they are probably first generation, but they come from these really diverse backgrounds and really mixed. And so I love having people on with different perspectives to really share what that transition is like. And maybe share a little bit more about how that was important to you. Like, as you came to the U.S., what did you kind of have to leave behind in order to find success here as an entrepreneur?
And Nikki, it's interesting because as an immigrant, what most people don't realize, we kind of have to work twice as hard to overcome the accent, overcome speaking foreign language. And then there's this whole cultural and societal background that we bring with us that we have to really reconcile with the culture that we're in. So I'm proud to say I excelled in embracing American culture. I had, we can say, reached the pinnacle of the American dream. I had the college education with summa cum laude designation. I had a very robust corporate career, and then I even opened my own global consulting company. So I did pursue this entrepreneurship dream. But there was a lot of hardship along the way and a lot of need for resilience, perseverance, and determination, because one of the things that I embraced really early coming to America is I understood the power of language and power of spoken words. So to keep polishing, pun intended, since I'm Polish, polishing my language, I subscribed to a daily word from dictionary. And I kept expanding my vocabulary so that when I speak, people would give credit to my intelligence and to my experience. So I think there is this undercurrent for immigrants that really is seen we just work twice as hard to get the same result. But that also makes us super determined. And I think that's the reason we accomplish a lot.
It's beautiful and such an important part of how, America came to be in many other countries is it took a melting of different cultures for us to think about things differently. And I know speaking multiple languages, it's more than, just translating the words. There are so much intonation, cultural understanding about how you communicate, how you even think. Like, are you just saying the words in another language? Are you actually thinking them and really able to communicate and translate on the fly? It's totally different things. And people that have never tried to speak another language, they don't necessarily know that. And they really simplify it to, well, just learn the words, right? But it's much more complicated than that. And I love that you use the dictionary .com, to get that email of the day to expand your vocabulary. I know as an author, one of the favorite things I liked is as I was trying to, put words on paper, I wanted to find new ways to kind of talk about stuff. And so finding like synonyms, to try to explain things in a better way, it was great to kind of go down that rabbit hole a little bit to think about, well, what does this word mean? And does it really articulate what I'm trying to say? Maybe tell us a little bit about your writing journey. I know you've got a couple of books out and just incredible information out there for others.
Yeah, so I discovered in the process of my entrepreneurial journey that I have quite a lot to say. Who would think so? So I was invited to be part of this anthology, Guerrilla Education, about unconventional ways of learning. And my chapter is on unlearning the limits. Because what I didn't realize coming to the United States is that all that cultural programming, the concept, the values that were encoded in me in my childhood would come and sabotage me in my business. So back in 2015, back in 2010, I opened my global consulting company and my life was really good. I was thriving. I had really top-notch clients, never had to look for a client. They were all coming to me by referrals. And I expanded so fast and made so much money in such a short period of time without much effort that I became extremely uncomfortable with my growth. So I did the only logical thing that one would do in that situation. I sabotaged. I stopped following up with clients. I didn't charge for the projects that I completed. I was literally forcing myself to lose money in order to come back to that comfort level that I brought with me from an ex-communist country. And at the same time, I was waking up to my intuitive abilities, which I was born with. And these abilities were shunned, were not perceived really well in a communist system because spirituality is not something you're supposed to adopt in the atheist country. So this was such a pivotal period in my life because in the moment of epiphany, I downloaded the modality, which I call the triple quantum reset. And it allows me to see all these patterns that we carry in our mental and emotional bodies, which simply means these are the patterns that we adopted that cause us to do the same thing over and over again. And once you see the core wound and you can release that, that's how you start unlearning your limitations that you placed upon yourself. So I was really happy to describe this in this book. And I launched Unlock Your Success, which is the company that I've been running ever since, helping entrepreneurs expand their business and create even more success.
It's such a great story and so powerful, that transition and the breakthrough many of us need, because we have all this conditioning that has come from various ways of how we grew up. And you think that that success that people have told you is the thing that's going to make you happy. And I think then so many of us start self-sabotaging ourselves and just saying, it just doesn't feel right. It's not resonating. Not because you don't deserve that success, but because of all that programming that's stuck in there. And I love that you help people really start breaking some of those patterns, because they could be stuck like that forever if they don't start changing that way of their behaving so that they can actually enjoy the success that they're having and find ways to, get the scale that's not going to be so overwhelming that, all they do is work, which I think is a lot of things that people are afraid of as well. So I know you have a great community too, which really helps bring people together. Maybe share a little bit about the Aina Circle.
Oh, yeah. So in the middle of pandemic, I received another epiphany or this divine download. And what that meant is that I realized that there is such a great need for community and support and mentorship that they offer, especially for women entrepreneurs, because we feel lonely a lot of times in what we do. And there are many organizations and professional groups that offer the type of networking where you're supposed to shine in your 60-second commercial and persuade somebody to work with you in nanoseconds. So we wanted to create something different. We wanted a sacred space, a safe space where women can come together and up-level and upshift and expand, but also to challenge what happens to them in their professional, personal lives, to talk about the issues, the challenges, the obstacles, and be very open and vulnerable, and then support one another in releasing those emotional and mental patterns that keep us stuck or not getting us the breakthrough that we need. So we launched the Aina Circle, and little did I know that this is going to be a long journey and a next step in my life purpose. But I am proud to say we've been now established for 3.5 years. And recently we've been featured at the Los Angeles Tribune Her Story Summit. So I was so proud to bring all these beautiful women together and show what happens when women elevate each other as opposed to competing with one another.
It's such an important thing. I was actually just having this discussion with a partner this morning about, many of us over the last few years have left corporate jobs and some of that path because it really wasn't resonating with us. For me personally, many times I was the only woman in the room. So I felt like I had to be someone else. And this partner talked about it as we're trying to outmen men instead of really trying to just be our true selves and being comfortable that we could just express ourselves as women. And that a lot of times, like you said, there's been situations that happen where as you do express yourself as a woman, you're put down, you're dismissed, you're not allowed to get promotions, all the things that kind of keep you bound in not feeling comfortable. So I love that you have this Aina Circle to be able to bring people together in that vulnerable space to share, to heal, to move forward, and just to build community. I think that's such an important part. Like you said, as an entrepreneur, we spend a lot of time alone. So how can we get that still community feeling and encourage each other? There's no need to keep fighting over the same piece of pie. Let's make the pie bigger and let's all succeed and do well together. So I love that. And I'm glad it's been so successful, over the pandemic and beyond. And can't wait to see what else comes after this. So what else is on the docket? I know you always got some interesting things going on and already so many amazing things have happened for you. But any big downloads of surprise and adventure coming your way?
Well, I'm about to be featured in another book called Wildlife. And there I talk about the evolution of our life purpose, because a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially women, keep asking themselves a question. What's the bigger purpose? What's the bigger mission? Am I fulfilling what I'm here to deliver, the impact I'm here to have? And what I'm trying to show these amazing women is that everything in our life is a single step in a journey of 1,000 steps, as Lao Tzu says, that lead us to that purpose, and that the purpose is in every moment. So whatever business you have right now or whatever career you are in, even if you're not satisfied, there is a reason why you're doing it. It's gonna unfold later in the journey and you'll be able to build upon it. So one of the examples I give in that book is that when I was at the Ohio State University, I went to Toledo to study Spanish and to actually study at the university. And as I was leaving the country, I saw this beautiful, authentic sword. So I bought this sword as a memento of this journey and of this experience. But of course, when you come back home, what on earth do you do with an authentic sword? You wrap it up and you put it in a laundry room. And there it rested for over 20 years until the day I conceived the Aina Circle. In a flash, I saw a logo, and our logo had a sword in it. So I realized that this sword was the beginning of the journey that would not unfold for more than 2 decades. But it symbolized the truth, the authenticity, which Athena, Greek goddess, stands for women to be comfortable with their uniqueness of expression, of being simply who they are, embracing the divine feminine energies within them, which, Nikki, you just spoke of earlier. And that this sword would become the anchor upon which we journey forward. So when we launched the Aina Circle, I unpacked that sword. We took it as founding members to Hot Springs, Arkansas. We plunged it into the earth, and that was our initiation ceremony.
The symbolism is so great. And it just reminds me of sort of these mix of like kind of the old King Arthur movies, but, taking the feminine version of it and taking back our power. I mean, I think a lot of that is such an important part of our journey now, and finding that good balance of how can we keep supporting each other, seeing a new way forward, and continue to live a fulfilled life, no matter whether it's that perfect job, that perfect opportunity, but seeing each step as that ultimate, road to where you're supposed to be. So I love that, because I think it's easy to be dissatisfied with where you're at and always thinking like there's someplace better. But if we don't find some satisfaction in where we're at, we may never make that next step into the next thing, and kind of get stuck in that same thing, those old mindsets leaving us where we don't want to be.
And sometimes they are part of the journey. I realized that all that struggle that I had with my own limiting beliefs about money or self-worth or what I can accomplish were actually part of my purpose. Because my modality, what makes it unique is that it goes into the core wound. It goes into the moment where, usually as a child, before the age of 7, as the science proves, we encoded this limitation as a protective mechanism. And when I was going through my own struggle, it was purposed. We can say at the soul level, it was required, because we often teach that which we overcame ourselves. So my invitation to our viewers is to embrace their struggles. They're leading them on a journey to gaining knowledge, wisdom, and expertise that they will not ever have. And there is some beautiful golden nugget in absolutely every experience that we have. And sometimes the nugget is like a big sword that you pull out and you say, I guess a new part of my journey is about to unfold.
That's amazing. It does remind me of so many times in my career where, I was potentially struggling and not satisfied with whatever things were going on, especially as you kind of move up and you're doing more management stuff and you're doing less of actual doing. So it's hard sometimes to feel that reward. And I just remember at some point making this pivot going, the people are what made the difference. When I looked back over my time in my corporate jobs, sure, I learned a lot of things and I can run a great business, but it was the relationships I had, the friendships I still have today, decades later, that made the difference in every job. And so I really just rechanged my focus to be not just a better manager, but to be a better friend, just to be a better person to people and be kind and considerate. And once I started doing that, I felt so much better about my job. The corporate job, they did not appreciate all that stuff. They were like, just get stuff done. But I said, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm here to do, is to make people enjoy their day as best I can. And, kind of shield them from some of the nonsense that happens in those environments so that they can also do their best work. So I love the community. I love your messaging. I've seen you work, and it's just phenomenal and amazing how you've transformed people just within a matter of minutes in front of me. So I can't wait to do some more activities with you and maybe contribute to the Aina Circle in my own small way.
Wonderful. Well, we would love to have you, and we welcome all women that want to embrace this holistic success that has body, mind, and spirit all combined for a beautiful journey called life.
Well, if people want to find you, let them know where they can reach out and get connected.
Yes, I would like to invite everyone to visit my website, dagmarfleming.com. It also links to the Aina Circle. Also, I am on all social media. So I have my Facebook page, but there are also groups, private groups for Unlock Your Success and for the Aina Circle.
Awesome. That's so wonderful. Well, I hate to say goodbye because I could hang out with you all day and talk. And I can't wait to come back down to Texas and we'll do some stuff. Or if you're ever in Chicago, don't forget to say hi and we'll hang out here, preferably when we have nicer weather. So probably don't come either.
It's a beautiful weather here, so calm down.
My network in Texas is continuing to expand, kids, so you never know where I may end up tomorrow.
I love to share my absolutely favorite quote from Ferdinand Foch that says, the most potent weapon on earth is a human soul on fire. And this is a reminder that when we are in our passion, when we are on purpose, there's absolutely no limit to what we can accomplish. So in a world that is so polarized, that is so going through anguish of fighting and battles, we just have to remember that we are the mechanism of peace, and we are the ones that can truly expand this consciousness by simply tapping into what makes us passionate and what makes us fired up. So let's ignite those souls and let's go and change the consciousness one person at a time.
That's a great way to end the show. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please don't hesitate to, click the bell, ring, follow, subscribe, whatever it is on each of these platforms. And stay tuned for the next episode. Once you follow, you can catch us where all the cool kids hang out that do podcasts. Thanks for listening and celebrating our 8th season and 100th episode. We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Please don't forget to share your thoughts on this topic with us across our social channels. You can find them at the NikkiGreen360.com. TTFN, this is Nikki signing off.